Two. This is John Armwood on the Armwood Opinion Channel, and I'm here today discussing the fact that Robert Mueller, the former special prosecutor in the Russian interference case, announced his resignation today from that position, and he spoke for about 9 minutes about his report. And first of all, he stated that everything that he had to say about the investigation was in the 448-page report, and that everyone should read it. Unfortunately, so many people who are talking about this have not read it. It's one of the frustrating things for me, talking to people who are talking about this and who have not read the report. The report is very, very important. The first part of the report, he talks about Russian interference in the election in 2016, the fact that it happened, the fact that it was serious, that it was an attack, and that every single American should be concerned about it. The second part of the report dealt with obstruction of justice, the obstruction that occurred during the time of the investigation. And he spoke about that obstruction. And he said that under the guidelines that the Justice Department had issued a number of years ago, that he was not allowed to indict the president. That was the job of Congress, and that he could not draw a conclusion because that would bias unfairly the subject of the investigation, meaning the president, without there being a court to make a determination. And that's lawyer speak. And, you know, I practiced law for, 16 years and taught it for another 12. So I understand exactly what he was saying. That is Congress's job. And he made it very clear that it was Congress's job. The House of Representatives, who actually does the impeachment, the Senate does the trial, has been avoiding it. Nancy Pelosi is scared of political blowback on it. I'm not sure exactly who from. The population is, in fact, about the same place they were, if not in a stronger place, in terms of impeachment than when Nixon. I remember that process very, very clearly. In fact, you can see right over here on here, Blind Ambition, John Dean's book, is right next to me talking about that. And those the final days, Woodward and Bernstein's book, Leon Jaworski's, You know, I read all of those books and I watched it as it occurred. So I mean, I studied. I was a political science major in undergraduate school, so I read it as it was occurring. I read everything. I read the New York Times every day, as I still do. The point being that his intention all along was for Congress to make the determination as to how to handle his findings. Unfortunately, Nancy Pelosi, from the time that the investigation really got going, once she became leader of the House majority, has opposed it. And I've talked in prior issues why I think she is opposing it, but I won't say it now. The sad thing is that many uninformed Americans, because she's saying it, are blindly following it without understanding either the law or the politics of it. And it's very, very sad. And every American, I think, who wants to talk about it has a responsibility to read the 440-page document, which outlines 10 clear instances of very serious obstruction of justice, of crimes, but for the fact that President Trump is a president, he would be under arrest now with criminal charges. There's no question about that. Mueller didn't come out and say it, but he all but said it. It was clear what he was saying. And that's obvious to anyone who understands it. Over 1,000 prosecutors around the country have said that. The Constitution, however, provides that for the president, impeachment is the process. But we have a leader in the House who refuses to do it. So it's up to the American people. I've discussed what I think her motivations are before. And as we learned from the Watergate hearings, follow the money. Follow the money. And I think we need to do that in this case too. Follow the money. But we now know where Mueller stands. And it's been obvious to anyone who took the time to read the report. And that's the thing I just keep on saying. You can get it free. MSNBC published it in a PDF form on their website, msnbc.com, the day that it was released. I downloaded it and read it because I want to know. Like I read the Pentagon Papers. I've read all those books on the impeachment. I'm a reader. I actually care about democracy, and I don't like to talk about things that I don't know about. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't, I think, fathom the seriousness of it. They don't take it seriously, and they take it personally as opposed to looking at it from an analytical perspective. And it's sad. It's like, if we go to the doctor, we want our doctor to know about our medical condition. But when it comes to the institutions of our government, the Constitution, and the law and procedures, people think that all opinions are equal. They're not. If you have no understanding of the process and the procedure and the law and the Constitution, you're not in a position to have an informed opinion. It's just like asking me about your medical condition or asking someone else who is not medically trained about your medical condition. Without the proper knowledge, you're not going to take it seriously. All opinions are not equal. Mueller was very clear about what he wanted. When you read the report, you knew where he stood. He was very clear about it in the report. He says that if he is brought before Congress to speak and to testify, that he's not going to testify to anything else but what's in his report. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine with that because his report is very, very clear. Just you can't be lazy. You have to read it if you really want to know what the full story is. And I'm going to leave it on that. I mean, we have an obligation to defend our freedoms, to keep our government from being corrupted as it is right now. People are dying. Children are dying in detention centers throughout the country. We've had 6 reported deaths since December. We don't know how many more have died. A lot of things are going on in this country that are hurting people. And to have these silly conversations and to refuse to get rid of this criminal in the White House over fear of political consequences is downright ignorant, and it's negligent. We have a responsibility, a duty to uphold the Constitution. Unfortunately, we're not doing it right now. Therefore, the responsibility is on us. History will judge us. What did you do? What didn't you do? And why or why not? And I'm going to leave it at that. And remember, resistance is not futile. We can and will succeed if and only if we do what it takes and pay the price. It's about personal integrity. It's about national integrity. Either you have it or you don't. Alrighty, hit the like button if you like it. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button twice. And check the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel and hear more progressive content. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.